Good evening. Thank you for coming to Curriculum Night on video this year. This is take two. I was going on too long and I want to keep it under about 6 minutes. That's what I learned during remote learning. A 6-minute video will get a lot more views than something longer. I'm assuming adults are similar to teenagers in this regard. So here we go. My name is Nina Franklin. I am your student's teacher for social studies and most likely for English. And curriculum night tonight, I'll tell you a little bit about myself. I'm going to go over some classroom expectations, including COVID safety, and talk about what we're doing in Social Studies 8. Best way to reach me is always via email. And if you lose track of Franklin N, you can find it on the Briar Terrace website. So I have been teaching at Edmonds. This is my 17th year, and I've been at Briar Terrace for 13 years. I love middle school and love 8th grade. My own daughters attend Terrace Park, so I'm very invested in Edmonds. And in addition to teaching social studies, I teach English and I teach English language learners. So along with the school, Briar Terrace has chosen these core values of community, belonging, and accomplishment. I love those values, and I strive to have this be a classroom where everybody feels that they belong and we value their voice. And I work on citizenship because I think it's so important in our country and in our world. So they have an opportunity to, share their voice, have discussions, and develop their critical thinking skills as well. I want this to be a safe place for everybody to learn, which includes myself, and includes that, we can make mistakes, and that's part of learning. So here's a look inside room 11. You can see that, well, I can tell you that normally we'd be more grouped up, but the desks are all facing the same direction for COVID safety. And I also got more of these individual desks in the back of the room. That's new this year. But most students do have a table partner. They got some input on who they get to sit with. And that is, they get to work in with their table partner a fair amount. So in terms of COVID, they always have to have their mask on over their mouth and nose. When they come into the classroom, they wipe down their desk. And there's hand sanitizer available in multiple places in the room, and they're pretty good about using it. And I really do have to stick to the seating charts. So there's less flexible groupings than I would use in a typical year for good safety reasons. If there is a positive COVID case and a student needs to be out of school, then I have to report who their close contacts are. And that's defined by the Department of Health as within 3 feet for 15 minutes or more, assuming everybody's masked. So that pretty much means their table partner. In terms of materials for class, students should always bring their Chromebook. A lot of students choose to carry their charger with them in case the battery doesn't last all day. I do have places where they can charge their Chromebook, but I don't have extra chargers. They should have a composition notebook. They can use the same one for English and social studies, and I've provided these if they didn't get one already. I didn't add here, but having headphones or earbuds is also really helpful, and I have those if they don't have a pair already. Independent reading book. I can say more about that for English, but they're always expected to be reading something and to have that book with them. Canvas. Everything's on Canvas. If you're not already an observer on Canvas and need instructions for how to do that, send me an email and I will connect you with what you need. Everything that is for a grade is on Canvas. Even if they submit it on paper and there's no submit button on Canvas, because all the grades are on Canvas, even paper assignments. Canvas grades are going to be the most current, so that's the place to go to see what is missing, what's the current grade, because we teachers have to manually sync those grades to Skyward, so Canvas is the most current. And if a student goes to their Canvas grades and they see the list of everything, all the assignments so far for the semester, if it has a missing button next to it, that means they can still turn it in for credit. If we should have to pivot to remote learning, either for a classroom or the whole school, so far so good on that, the Zoom links would be also on Canvas in each course. Social studies. So here's some of the books that we use. If you were in person, you'd have a chance to peruse our History Alive text, our book of our atlas, which has maps and charts and tables and graphs that they've been working with, learning social studies content through those visuals. And then Junior Scholastic is current events, and I use a lot of their materials as well. So we do, in 8th grade, it's U.S. history from the colonies through the Civil War and Reconstruction. So we've started with the colonies, with Jamestown, which was both the first permanent English settlement and the place where American slavery began in 1619. And we do a lot with U.S. government. We do the Constitution, we study the branches of government, checks and balances, how they work together, and civics, how to be a good citizen, what that means, empowering them with how the government works and how to be an involved citizen is exciting and important, in my opinion. And then geography skills throughout the year as well. More about civics. I just talked about this in the current event connections, but I will say Civic Mirror is a simulation that we usually do in the spring. Once we know a bit about the branches of government, we have a simulated country in the classroom, so everybody's a citizen in the country, and they elect a president and a Congress, and they appoint a judge and so on to, to experience the branches of government as well. It's a lot of fun. Skills throughout the year, reading for information, learning how to be a critical thinker and consumer of the media that's around us all the time, and civil discourse, agree to disagree. I wanted to mention that, at middle school, there's no regular parent conferences, but if you have concerns, then what you should do is reach out to your student's counselor, and that's based on last name. Sam Clark is out on maternity leave and will be back in December or January, but until then, Ala Al-Harab is the counselor if your last name begins with A through L-E, and then the second half of the alphabet, you'd work with Amanda Harris. Thank you so much for coming tonight. Please do email me if you have any questions or concerns, and I'm so excited to continue working with your students this year. Thanks again, and have a great night.